through. And I've tried all sorts, but they won't let me. But on this, with this aircraft, he actually took off, and shortly after that they hit some birds, and it damaged one of the engines, the centre engine. So they were given the choice apparently of do they carry on to the destination, and they wouldn't be able to fly back because of the condition of the aircraft, or do they turn back and cancel the trip and find some other, and they turned back. And the people, because I'm so well known for things I get up to, the crew from the aircraft called me, and I went over there with all my special gadgets and things, and I was up inside the engine. I showed you a photograph with titanium blades on the propellers inside, and they had chips off them, that birds have damaged. Anyway, I got in there and made the things, repaired them as best we could, working on keeping the balance so they didn't get any vibration. Then we went to the end of the runway, revved up, checked everything. Everything was fine. That was it. So we went back, parked up, and so I've got a photograph of Land Rover One with, as I call it, Air Force One.
All right, Dave. Most aeroplanes have problems when a bird gets into the propeller, into the engine finally. What does it cause? What do birds do with engines of aircraft?
They damage the blades quite severely in some cases.
Meaning that what kind of material the blades are made?
Titanium.
Plastic or?
Titanium.
Okay.
Very strong. As I say, that photograph I showed you earlier, it had damaged about 5 of the blades. It's not like a normal propeller for an aircraft or anything. It's special jet engines, obviously, with these special blades. But the first ones, there's a series of them, the first ones had chunks out of them. They were bent over, and they had to be made stable so the thing could fly.
So that can ignite the engine of the aeroplane?
Possibly. It'd have to be something severe, but I don't know how big the birds were. But I was surprised, everyone's surprised at the damage these birds did, when they were sucked in and spat out the other end.
You're also in heavy goods vehicle. You got a license for that as well. These are the trailer vehicles, heavy duty vehicles.
Yeah, commercial vehicles. Yeah, I'm an advanced driver for commercial vehicles and a driving instructor for them.
Have you been able to do some training in the Gambia on that kind of vehicle?
No, because not being a Gambian, I'm not allowed to drive commercial vehicles, which obviously restricts things. If that wasn't the case, or if they make me Gambian, then I can do stuff like that. No problem.
This is the interview. My guest is Dave Paget, otherwise known as Land Rover One. Dave is a man of many colors, of course. And now, Dave, we're coming into the side wherein you do welding. You're a welder with armor plates and stainless steel. This you do when you were in England?
Yes, when I was in England. I was working for a company that was replicating antique fireplaces with a special TIG welding. I worked for another company that made armoured cars for the sheikhs and so on in Arabia. It was based on a Jeep, but it was lined inside with stainless steel. Even the keyhole had a box inside, so that just in case the bullet went through there, it was still caught. And it was all specialised welding with TIG welding. Interesting.
Do you practice welding in the Gambia as well?
Yeah.
You got a garage?
Yes, yeah. Land Rover workshop.
Okay.
Specialising in Land Rovers, hence the Land Rover One.
In September 2005, let me take you to this bizarre incident. There was a Mercedes-Benz that got an accident, and the driver was hauled in the vehicle. He cannot get out.
Right.
And did you pass by it, or you were called to rescue?
No, this was actually the start of working with mobile traffic. I was on the way to Banjul in my car, and I saw the accident. It was the skid mark was something like 90 metres going towards Banjul, and where the foam factory is now, just before Bunfa Road, it skidded, rolled, and then hit a tree. He'd hit the roof against the tree while he was on his side, and then flopped back down again. Well, because the roof was dented, it made the roof stronger. By the time I saw the accident, realised what was going on, and I wasn't known like I am now then. But I knew that I could do something, and I spoke to one of the police commissioners that were there controlling traffic. The fire brigade were there and various others, and people had cut the windscreen pillars, but they couldn't lift the roof to get the boy out because everything was all trapped, and he was in there screaming, blood all over the place. So I said to the commissioner, you know, I want to get my car ring, so I've got a chain, we can put it across the roof, I can reverse, lift the roof up, then they can get the boy out. And they weren't sure what to do, so I did it. I just drove across the road, pulled up behind the car, and what horrified me at the time was there were people taking bits off of the car while the boy was inside, lights and indicators, bits and pieces, and running off with it. And people were just standing there watching. Anyway, I got the roof up, making sure my car was all locked up so I didn't lose anything. We got the boy out and off he went, and I was told by the IGP next day that he died a couple of hours later. Oh. So if I'd have got in there and done it straight away like I can now, hopefully, well, maybe he would have been alive. But from then, things started, and now I've done, say, for 6 years or more. You know,
was that the stepping stone for you to be recognized by the police?
Yeah.
And consequently, you're now with the Gambia Mobile Traffic Police? Yeah. That was it?
That was the starting point.
That was the starting point. And over the years, what have you been doing with them?
Well, so I've got over 300 accidents documented, you know, on the computer, the various photographs. I'm on call 24/7, so it's a good job I'm not a drinker. Anytime, day or night, they call me. I remember one time, an ex-IGP called me 2 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Land Rover 1, we need you, Senegambia. So I went out. I just take photographs of the scene, clear up, drag cars off the road, sometimes take them to the police station, sweep up afterwards. You know, I carry all the gear in my car, ropes, brooms, shovels. I've even got an air jack. It's like a big balloon you put under a car, put it on your exhaust, and it lifts it quite quickly. So if you've got somebody trapped, you can get them out, you know, very quick. And so unfortunately I've taken one or two to the morgue. You know, a young girl comes to mind outside the Cloley Clinic. A gilly slowed down to let her cross the road, and another one overtook and hit her. So I took that one to the morgue after taking the photographs and so on. So yeah, there's been quite a few fatal accidents that I've been to. Sometimes drunk, like there's one particular tree in Lamin that's claimed quite a few lives with 2 serious accidents. Lack of maintenance and careless. You know, they're driving too fast. There's another one by the junction for Kotu Power Station on the bend there. The story was that the Mercedes was driving down the road towards the traffic lights. The passenger was telling the driver, shaking his arm, go faster, faster. And he lost control, hit another car, took off, hit a tree, he died, and another one died a bit later. You know, there's no need for it, you know.
So what, in your opinion, is the cause of most of these accidents we have on?
50% of them tend to be taxis. There's usually a taxi involved, and I'm sure you, as everyone knows, the taxis are pretty much the worst conditioned vehicles on the road, and people are paying to use them, which is not right. Drunk and under the effects of drugs is quite a common one. And negligence, you know, where they think they can do better than everybody else and race around, and it doesn't work, you know. And vehicle maintenance to some extent.
Let me take you to the roadworthiness of some of the vehicles. I mean, some vehicles definitely should not be on the road. Do you advise the police on roadworthiness of some of the vehicles on the roads?
Occasionally. I'm actually working on something now where it's bringing in the MOT that was in UK 20 years ago. So it's basically doing the test as it is now, or should be now, but the paperwork's a bit different. So you get a certificate saying that you've passed the test, or a failure certificate, which you
MOT,
take back.
What does that
basically
mean?
MOT, Ministry of Transport.
Very well. Oh.
It's all going through the channels at the moment, but if it comes off, it will mean that the annual test can be done at any time of the year. As long as you've got a month before the expiry date, you can get your insurance done, because at the moment insurance companies are insuring vehicles they haven't even seen. It may not exist, or it may have been crashed yesterday and they've got to pay out, you know. The GRA love the idea because it softens the load or lightens the load at the beginning of the year. As you know, at the moment everything's got to be renewed, But if the vehicles are done at any time through the year, as long as they've got a month left on this expiry date for the test, you know. And again, on the